So let's have a seat at our mat and just kind of get centered in. Let your shoulders relax, let your jaw relax. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through your mouth. And just kind of settle in. Notice what you're feeling everywhere. And then start breathing a little deeper and slower. Check in with thoughts, emotions, and particularly your energy. And then let's bring our palms together in front of our hearts and just pause for a moment to set our personal intentions for practice today. When you're clear about your intention, deep breath in. Big exhale. Good. So when I asked you to check in with your energies, I wanted you to kind of notice that we are coming up on a really big full moon. If any of you guys saw it last night, it already looks full, even though it's not. And so, as you know, we're always kind of trying to balance out energies. So there's a lot of lunar energy right now, which means we're going to do a slightly more solar practice, which means a little bit more physical. This is still a gentle class, and I want you to modify as much as you need to as we move through poses. But for those of you that want a little bit of a challenge, you should get that today. So let's go ahead and come to standing at the front of the mat. Just take a moment to get really grounded and rooted. You might want to lift your toes and spread them and plant them, and lift the heels and plant them. Really connect down through the soles of your feet to the earth. Lift your chest. Tuck the bottom points of the rib cage in. Draw your head back over your spine and just take a moment and really connect downward. And then take a big inhale, reach the arms up. Hold this for another breath, just lifting your heart, lifting your arms. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, fold forward, and hang in ragdoll. From your ragdoll, just go ahead and plant your hands and then look up and lengthen and back down. I want you to step back with your left foot. Just come into a nice deep lunge. And with your hands still on the mat, drop your left knee down and then lift it back up and just kind of see how that feels. Do that one more time. Drop it down and lift it back up. And then we're going to go ahead and drop it down, untuck the left toes, bring the arms up and overhead, tilt the pelvis, let the hips move forward. Lift your heart, find that stretch on the front of your left hip. Palms together. If you can, we're going to prayer twist to the right. So we're going to be doing a little bit of stimulating of our third energy center, which is Manipura Chakra, which is solar energy. So as part of what your twisting is doing, is starting to wake up that midsection. Let's go ahead and bring both hands down inside the right foot. See if you can come on to the left forearm, maybe a block, maybe both forearms. Just take a breath here. And then hands on either side of the right foot, gaze forward and extend your right leg, and then flex the ankle and toes. Now we're gonna bend the right knee again. Turn the left toes under and lift that left knee up again. From here, you're gonna plant your hands and step straight back to downward facing dog. Just press those hips back. If you need to drop to a child's pose from here, do so. But if you can do at least this one first modified vinyasa, let's give it a shot. You're going to shift forward into a plank position, drop down knees, chest, and chin, or just lower all the way to the ground. Either one is fine. Untuck your toes, slide your arms forward. We'll come into Sphinx. And you can hold it for an extra breath. And then downward facing dog. Really feel connected through the hands and the feet. Remember to ground yourself. So when we have a lot of lunar energy, there's a tendency to feel kind of flighty. So we want to stay very grounded. Let's take a big step forward with our left foot. And just hold your lunge for a moment. Just to experiment, just like we did on the other side. Your hands are going to stay on the mat right now. Drop your right knee down. Lift the right knee back up. Drop it down. Lift it back up. And let's go ahead and drop it down and untuck the right toes. Bring the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts, the rib cage lifts, and the hips move forward. So now we're opening up the front of the right hip. If you can, bring your palms together and prayer twist to your left. Remember, we're looking for that sensation of squeezing in the midsection. We're trying to wring out the middle part of our torso. Hands come down on either side of that left foot. Extend your left leg. Flex the ankle and toes. Bend your left knee, bring the left hand inside the left foot. See if you can come on to your right forearm. You're welcome to use a block. Come on to the left if you're a little more flexible. And then come back up onto your hands. Turn your right toes under, lift the right knee up and step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And then exhale, back down. So this time we're going to step back with the right foot. Hold your lunge for a moment. Now, obviously, I want you to pay attention to knee issues, hip issues, etc. A moment ago, we had our hands on the ground and we dropped and raised our right knee. Do that again if it's okay with your body. We're going to do it 3 times. Those of you that want more of a challenge, you're going to take your hands off the ground for a high lunge. Drop the right knee, raise it up. Drop it down, raise it up. Drop it down and raise it up. Those of you with your hands on the ground, if you can do a high lunge, come into one now. You'll hold it. And then from our high lunge, we're just going to take the right hand to the mat, left hand up towards the ceiling. Bring your left hand down inside your left foot. If you need to drop the right knee, do so. But if you can keep it up this time, come on to right forearm or a block or both forearms. Work at your own level. It's always okay to modify. Hands on either side of the left foot. If you can, gaze forward and begin to straighten your left leg. Again, if you need to drop the right knee, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to keep working with the leg up. From here, you're just going to step straight back to downward facing dog. Push those hips up and back. Right foot steps forward, between the hands. Just like we did on the other side. If you're gonna keep your hands down, that's fine. You're just gonna raise and lower your left knee 3 times. Those of you that want more of a challenge, arms are up and overhead, high lunge. Left knee drops and raises, drops and raises. One more time, drop it and raise it up. Those of you with your hands on the ground, if you can come into a high lunge, do so. Then we're just going to take left hand to the ground, right hand up towards the ceiling. Bring your right hand down inside your right foot. Come onto the left forearm, maybe the right. Remember, it's okay to drop the back knee if you need to. It's also okay to use a block. Hands on either side of the right foot, gazing forward and just beginning to straighten the right leg. And then from here, we're going to step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So we're going to be playing with some transitions today. This is why I was kind of saying if you're a little precarious with your balance, you can either use a block nearby or you can even have a piece of furniture or the wall nearby. And of course, you don't have to do anything that doesn't feel good in your body. So just pay attention to you. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And exhale, back down. Step back with your left leg. If you can, you're going to raise your arms up and overhead, high lunge. And then we're just going to spin the left heel flat and come into warrior two. Reverse your warrior, left hand, left thigh, right arm up and over. Come all the way back up and straighten your right leg. Lengthen out through your triangle pose. And then I want you to come back up into warrior two. Bend your right knee. Come back up onto left toes. High lunge. Take your hands to the mat. Those of you taking vinyasas, off you go. It's a great day for it. The rest of you, I'm going to give you a break. Drop to your knees and take a child's pose. I realize it's your first child's pose. This is definitely a more solar and active practice for this class. So feel free to take child's pose anytime you need to. If you're in child's with me, scoot forward into Sphinx, lengthen out. And then downward facing dog. From your down dog, left foot steps forward. If you can, high lunge, arms are up and overhead. Right heel just spins flat, warrior two. Right hand on right thigh, reverse your warrior, keep that left knee bent, of course. Come back up, straighten your left leg, lengthen out for your triangle pose. Come all the way back up into your warrior two. We're going to come back onto the right toes, transitioning into your high lunge. Hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Hips up and back, stretch. Step your right foot forward. Again, modify if you need to, but if you can hold your high lunge, come on up, arms are up and overhead. We're gonna do a high prayer twist, so palms together. You're twisting to the right, taking left elbow outside, right knee or thigh. Bigger transition, we're coming from this into warrior two. You're gonna spin all the way around, left heel flat, arms out to the side. Transition back into your high lunge. Hands to the mat, downward facing dog. You should be getting warmer. Your midsection should be getting a little bit more alive. Step your left foot forward. Come on up, high lunge. We're gonna do a high prayer twist, palms together. Twist to your left, right elbow outside that left knee or thigh. Big transition here, all the way open, warrior two. Back into your high lunge. This time I'm gonna have you bring your hands down and step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, palms together in front of the heart. All right, make sure you're still feeling really rooted. We have a little more transitioning to do. So there's a lot of balance involved in these moving transitions, right? And we're kind of transitioning the energy from lunar to solar. So it's all about transitions. We're gonna make sure our feet are all the way together. Inhale and reach your arms up, and then as you exhale, stick your tailbone back and down and lift your heart. Stay in Utkatasana if you can. Palms together, prayer twist to your right. Left elbow outside, right knee or thigh. All right, here comes the fun. If you can, you're gonna step your left leg back so you're in a prayer twist lunge, high lunge. Good. Bring your hands down to the mat. Spin your left heel flat. Begin to straighten your right leg. Slide your right hand wherever it needs to be so that you can just take your left hand to the ceiling for triangle pose. Come all the way up, warrior two. Transition to a high lunge. And then just step your left foot forward, palms together, feet together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop your tailbone down and back, lift your heart. Palms come together, prayer twist to your left. And then if you can, you're just stepping your right leg back. You're in that prayer twist lunge. Bringing hands to the mat, spin your right heel flat. Begin to straighten your left leg, slide the left hand wherever you need it, so you can just rotate open into your triangle. From here, we're coming up and going straight into a high lunge. Stepping right foot forward, palms together. How's it going out there in yoga land? All right. Don't worry, you'll really enjoy your relaxation today. We're gonna inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, drop the tailbone down and back, Utkatasana. Now, from here, we're gonna transition this into warrior three. So again, if you need furniture or block, use what you need. You're gonna begin to extend your left leg behind you, straightening right leg and leaning forward. See if you can put your left foot down for a high lunge. Maybe drop the left knee down. For those of you that are doing full vinyasas, you should have the strength to lift your left knee back up and take a vinyasa. For those of you with me, just bring your right knee to meet your left knee and take a child's pose. You've earned it. Scoot forward into Sphinx if you're doing a gentler flow. And then downward facing dog. Really lengthen and ground in your downward facing dog. And then you can just walk your feet forward to the front of the mat. Make sure the feet are together. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop the tailbone, Utkatasana. From here, we're going to transition into Warrior 3. You begin to extend your right leg out, hinging at your left hip, straightening left leg, coming into your Warrior 3. You can keep your arms extended, by the way. I'm just moving mine out of the way so I don't hit anything. If you can, right foot down, high lunge. Those of you doing vinyasas, you'll be, well, actually, let's all just go ahead and drop the right knee down. Those of you doing vinyasas, you can take it back up to do your plank and so on. The rest of us are going to take left knee to meet right knee and come into child's pose and take a couple of breaths. Just catch your breath. Make sure you're still doing slow, deep ujjayi breathing. And then scoot into Sphinx. And downward facing dog. Really press the tailbone up and back. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Now, from this downward facing dog, I want you to drop just your right knee down. Kick that right foot out to the right, probably off the mat. Spin your left heel flat and take your left hand to the ceiling for a modified side plank. If you can, raise your left leg parallel to the ground. If you can, come up into locked gate. So what you're going to do is put that left foot back down and rise up. Left hand on left thigh, right arm up and over. Kneeling transitions. Transitioning the energy from lunar to solar. Now listen, we've got one more transition here. We're going to bring our right hand back down, left hand up, modified side plank. As you bring your left knee down to the ground, realign right foot, scoop left arm underneath, threading the needle. Take a couple of breaths. And then as you come out of that, you're going to go straight into downward facing dog. Lengthen your spine, ground your energy. From this down dog, we drop just the left knee, kick the left foot to the left and spin the right foot flat. Right hand to the ceiling for modified side plank. And then if you can, raise your right leg parallel to the ground, modified half moon. If you can, right foot flat, come on up. Right hand on right thigh, left arm up and over for locked gate posture. Bring that left hand all the way back down to the mat, right hand to the ceiling, modified side plank. Here's your final transition. Right knee to the mat, left foot realigns, right arm scoops under, threading the needle. Come on out of that. Wag your tail a moment. Take a child's pose. Those of you doing vinyasas, go ahead and take off on another one. The rest of us will scoot forward into Sphinx. Just take a moment to not only lengthen your spine, but feel the ground beneath your thighs, your pelvis, your forearms. Take this opportunity to get really rooted again. And then downward facing dog. From your down dog, walk your feet forward. Big inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So we have one more balance pose, maybe with the transition, depending upon your ability today. Really honor where you're at today. So I'm going to give you some options. This is where if you are a little balance challenged, you'll want a block. We're going to be doing half moon. Just a reminder, that's that one where you've got a hand on a block or the ground. So if you need a block, you'll hold it in your left hand. But what we're going to do, if possible, is transition into this from a high lunge to a warrior three to a half moon and back out. So this could get a little flippy floppy. If you feel like that's not what you should be doing today, then my preference is that you simply work on your half moon. Okay? So do whatever you need to do. If you're just going to do half moon, but you're using a block, you're going to want it in your left hand because we're going to do this on the left foot first. If you're going to be transitioning through all of this, but you still need a block, still just hold your block in your left hand. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to inhale the arms up. We're going to exhale the right leg back, high lunge. From here, if you can, you're going to transition into a warrior three. The right leg extends behind you. If you're transitioning with me, left hand is going to go to the ground, right hand is going to go to the ceiling, and you might rotate open a little bit. And then if you can, you're going to put your right foot down, high lunge. Step your right foot forward and release your arms and roll your shoulders back. So that's a lot of transitioning. Maybe you did it. Maybe your body was like, oh no, we're just doing half moon. Whatever you did, bravo. All right, so if you're using a block, you'll be holding it in the right hand. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale that left leg back into a high lunge. If you're transitioning, warrior three, arms extend in front of you, left leg extends behind you. From here, the right hand finds the ground, the left hand reaches for the ceiling, and maybe you roll your chest open. Then we transition into a high lunge, left foot's back, arms are up and overhead. And then we step the left foot forward, release the arms. If you've got a block in your hand, you can put it down. Roll your shoulders back, feet together, palms together, pause for a moment, and get grounded again. All the hard stuff is over. Inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. Step back onto your hands and knees. Let's do a little arching and rounding, cat-cows. Inhaling to arch, exhaling to round. Notice how your midsection is feeling. So all of that balance and transitioning stuff was really a sneaky way to get to your core because it's very involved in that. On your next exhale, go ahead and take child's pose. If you'd like one final vinyasa, you may take it now. Otherwise, maybe just give yourself the opportunity to lengthen your spine in Sphinx. And then downward facing dog. Last down dog. So really spread your fingers, plant your palms, really connect your hands to the earth as much as you're connecting your feet to the earth. And then you can walk your feet forward and have a seat in Dandasana. So for this class, that was a pretty rigorous practice. And the idea behind that is that the more rigorous practices are, the more solar practices. So that's balancing out our energies, right? And now we get to kind of use that and slow down a little bit, but use that solar energy that we've generated. So just take a moment and check in with your body. Are you warmer? You should be. Are you like very connected now to your legs? In other words, are you aware of your legs? You should be. You are using them a lot. What about your midsection? Do you have rumbling in your belly? That's a good sign. Are you still connected to your breath? Let's go ahead and keep right leg straight. Bring left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Lean out over your right leg. Come on up from that. We're going to pick the left ankle up, flex it, bring it on top of the right thigh. Keep the left ankle flexed. Lean out over your right leg again. Those of us with tighter hips might feel a little something in the left hip. Those of you that are more flexible probably won't feel anything in the left hip. Come on up from that and let your left foot slide all the way across the right thigh until it's completely flat. Lift up through your chest and twist to the left. So you can either hug your left knee, or if you can, get that right arm outside of it. We're going to start doing more midsection twisting. So from here, as much as you can, the spine is straight, and you're really trying to get some rotation so that you feel that squeezing, that sensation, that wringing out in your midsection. Now keep your legs just like they are. We're just going to unwind for a moment. So you're going to come back around. You're going to put your right hand behind you. Left hand can just kind of touch the arch of the left foot. Rotate to your right for a moment. And then here's what we're going to do. Kind of lean on your right hand. If this is bad for your knees, ignore me, but if you can, I want you to bend your right knee so that that right foot is back beside your left buttock. Even if your left buttock just lifted up off the ground, and that's fine. We're twisting to the left again. This will be the deepest one yet. Left hand behind you, either hugging left knee or bringing right elbow outside of it. Chest is lifted, shoulders are relaxed, and you're really trying to get some deep, deep intra-abdominal compression. Good. As you unwind, you're just going to bring the soles of the feet together in front of you. Hands are behind you. Lift your chest, extend the knees out to the side, and then reach them down to the ground. And then from here, we'll just extend the left leg straight out in front of us. Let that right foot kind of snug to the inside of the left thigh. Lean out over your left leg. Just stretch. Come on up from that. Pick your right ankle up, flex it, bring it on top of your left thigh. Just lean out again. And then come on up from that. We're going to just let that right foot slide all the way across the left thigh. You want the whole sole of your right foot flat. We're going to twist to the right now. So your right hand is behind you. You can either hug your right knee or bring your left elbow outside of it. So you're looking for that first sense of deep compression as you twist to the right. Try and feel as though you're being wrung out in your midsection. And then we're just going to unwind for a moment. So keep your legs just like they are. Bring your left hand behind you. Right hand can just go to the arch of the right foot. Lift your chest, twist to the left. And then come back around, lean a little bit on your left hand, bend your left knee if you can so that your left foot is back beside your right buttock. And maybe the right buttock lifts, that's okay. We twist to the right again and try and get as deep into it as possible. Chest is lifted, shoulders are relaxed, you're twisting as much to the right as you can. Trying to really squeeze out that midsection. So when we did our twist and then we unwound, that's kind of like wringing out a rag or a sponge and then releasing it, and it absorbs fresh oxygenated blood. And then you wring it out again, and as we unwind this next time, your midsection should be all lit up. So let's go ahead and unwind. Bring the soles of the feet together again. Slide your feet way out in front of you this time. Clasp your ankles and just kind of nestle down for a moment. Give your low back a little bit of love. And then coming up from that, we're going to extend our legs nice and wide. But before we lean forward, we're going to do a little twist here too. That'll help release the hips. So keep your feet pointing up and your legs very active. Don't let the hips roll as you rotate. Straight spine. Left hand is in front of you. Right hand is behind you. You're going to keep your spine straight, legs active, and just rotate to the right. You're going to feel less of a compression in the midsection and more of an opening in the left hip. Just switch, go the other way. Right hand in front of you, left hand behind you. If you keep both legs active as you rotate to the left, you should begin to feel this a little bit in the right hip. Then you're going to come back around to the center, keep the legs active. Now just lengthen your body forward and take a few breaths. Keep those legs nice and active. And walk the hands back up. Bring your legs together and give them a little wiggle. Awesome. From here, you get to roll onto your back. Hug your knees in. Rock side to side. And so from here, we're going to do a tiny bit of lower abdominal work. This is called twisted root. So what I would like for you to do is very tightly cross your right thigh over your left thigh. Those of you that can do the little toe wrap, feel free to do that. You're going to keep your calves in the air parallel to the floor. We're just going to do a couple of these, nothing too extreme, 3 on each side, and you get a break in between. I want you to interlace your fingers behind your neck. Point your elbows at the ceiling so you're cradling your neck. It's supported. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, flatten your back, exhale, crunch the elbows towards the thighs, squeeze your thighs, empty your lungs, and then inhale down. Now you're going to keep your head on the ground. That's really important. Keep your head down. Put one hand on top of the other and put them in the middle of your right thigh. Legs are still in the air. Big inhale. Hold your breath, flatten your back. Now exhale, push against your right thigh, but don't let it move. Squeeze your thighs into your lungs. Your back stays flat. Inhale, release. Hold the breath, flatten the back, and exhale, press. And release. If you can, you're just going to put your left foot back down on the mat and drop both knees to the left for a nice deep twist. If that's too much for you, uncross your legs and it'll be a much gentler twist. So be mindful, if your back doesn't want the deep recline twist, just uncross the legs. Head should turn to the right. And you just enjoy a little relaxation here. Maybe noticing how the midsection is feeling. On your next inhale, bring the legs back up. If they're crossed, keep them crossed. We're gonna pick the left foot back up off the mat, and I want you to draw 3 big circles in the air in each direction with your knees. This should feel pretty yummy. As you finish your circles out, uncross your legs, give them a big squeeze. You can rock side to side. Then we're gonna do all that fun stuff on the other side, beginning with twisted root. So now, left thigh is tightly over right. Again, you're welcome to do the foot wrap or not, but your calves are gonna stay parallel to the ground. This first one, we interlace the fingers behind the neck to cradle the neck. Elbows point at the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, flatten the back, exhale, crunch, elbows towards thighs, you're emptying your lungs, squeezing the thighs, pressing your back into the mat. Inhale down. Now the head stays down, calves are still in the air. One hand on top of the other, dead center in the middle of your left thigh, your top thigh. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath, flatten the back, exhale, push against your thighs, squeeze them together, breathe all of your air out. Inhale, release. Hold the breath, flatten the back, exhale, press. And as you finish, if you can, you just put your right foot back down on the mat, drop both knees to the right, left arm opening out to the left. And so again, if this is too much of torque on your low back, then you should uncross your legs, but still drop them to the right and let your head turn to the left. On your next inhale, bring the legs back up. If your knees are crossed, keep them crossed. We're going to draw those 3 big circles in each direction with the knees again. Make sure you do 3 circles each direction. And as you finish out, you can just hug the knees in. Rock side to side. So from here, my recommendation for you for an inversion is some variation of a shoulder stand. Now, for those of you with neck and shoulder issues, if you've got a block nearby, that might look like putting your hips on a block and just letting your legs float in the air. So kind of like legs up the wall without the wall. For those of you who don't have neck or shoulder issues, see if you can hike your hips into your hands. So if you don't have a block and you can't do shoulder stand, then my recommendation would be to just stick your legs in the air and hold them so that it's a little less intense, right? So those are your choices. You're either holding the legs up, you're putting your buns on a block, or if you can, you're going to get your hips into your hands and just do your best to get somewhat vertical. So shoulder stand is a cooling pose. And as we get to the end of our very solar practice, we want to create balance. So this brings in lunar cooling energy. On your next exhale, whatever variation of the pose you're in, you could come on out, hug the knees in, rock side to side. And then keep your right knee hugged in, extend your left leg all the way onto the ground and just hug your right knee nice and deep. Bring your left knee back up, extend your right leg all the way out, hug that left knee nice and deep. And then bring the right knee back up, grab the outside edges of your feet, and just begin to explore a little bit. So if there's any pose that you wish you'd gotten to do during practice and you didn't do it, now's a good time to throw that in pretty quickly. Otherwise, just see what's going on in your lower body. So even though we did a lot of stimulation of the core and midsection, we used a lot of leg strength today, right? So you might just notice that your legs feel warm, or maybe they feel tired, or maybe they feel really alive. Just kind of play with that, see what you're feeling. Another couple of breaths. And then let's go ahead and bring the feet to the mat, ankles and knees together, and just do a few of those slow, gentle hip rolls where both knees drop to one side on an exhale and they come back up as you inhale and they go the other way as you exhale. So you just have that beautiful, slow breath that's leading this slow hip rolling movement. Let's go one more time on each side. And when you've done that, or whenever you're ready, you can just let the knees drop open. So the soles of your feet are touching, the knees are dropping apart. Let's go ahead and do that nice low back lengthener. Inhale and tilt the pelvis back to remove the natural curve from your spine. Hold it while you breathe. The next time you breathe out, just let your body relax and you'll feel that natural low back arch return. So one more time as you inhale, take it back out, press your low back into your mat. And then on your next exhale, just release it. Begin to extend your legs, separate your feet. You might want to wiggle the legs a little bit, make sure your glutes are relaxed, the spine is long, the neck is long, shoulders are relaxed, your palms are facing up. Your forehead is smooth, your eyes are just gently closed, your jaw is relaxed, your throat is soft. Take a big inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Give your body a little bit of time to settle down now. And so again, it's that really nice interplay of energies, right? You had a very solar practice, but you end up in Shavasana, which is a very lunar pose. So solar qualities are considered male, active, yang, warm. Lunar qualities are considered female, intuitive, softer, cooler. We exist in all of those qualities, just in varying places on the continuum. And it changes day to day, sometimes hour to hour. And so for Shavasana today, I'd like you to just really consider where you're at right now on that continuum between solar and lunar, male and female, active and intuitive, warm and cold. Just kind of feel where your energy is right now. Sometimes we need to be more active, more yang. Sometimes we need to be softer, more yin. Most of us have a natural proclivity towards one or the other, but we embody all of those qualities. And so just be really attentive and curious about where you are on that continuum right now today. So maintaining your stillness. Let's just check back in with the body, noticing how it feels right now, noticing any differences, if there are differences, between how your body feels right now and how your body felt at the initial check-in before we began practice. There may be lots of differences, there may be no difference at all. Notice your breathing right now. Chances are it is softer and gentler than it was at the beginning of practice. And I'd like you to notice your thought patterns. So, of course, you are still thinking, but have the thoughts become more spacious or perhaps muffled or less important? Or are they still the same? Are they moving at the same speed? Do they have the same quality or energy about them? What about the emotions? Our thoughts control our emotions, but our emotions are real because we feel them in our bodies. Notice if anything about that has changed. And then notice the difference in your energy. We know that we have all of these energies. We played with transitioning the energies today. But how was your energy at the beginning of practice? How was it at the midpoint? And how is it now? Hopefully those are 3 different answers. And if they're not, that's okay too. Just observing, we're not passing judgment. And then you can start to bring a little movement back. Begin to maybe gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Start to deepen your breath a little bit. When you're ready, take that deeper inhale. Spread your fingers and toes. Exhale, relax them. Inhale, stretch out your entire body, and then exhale and relax. Bend your knees, whether that means hugging them into your chest or just bending them with the feet on the floor, and then roll to your right side. Pause for a moment. Stay there for a moment. And then coming up to sitting. So we're actually going to do 2 breaths today for our pranayama. We're going to start with 1 round of Kapalabhati, which is that vigorous pumping of the abdomen. And then we're going to do a 2nd round of breath work that is Surya Vedana, which is a right nostril breath. So you may or may not be able to feel which nostril is dominant right now, but there is a little trick to it if you're at all interested. The back of your hand right between your thumb and index finger, this little bit of webbing here, is very sensitive. So just for giggles, maybe you can feel it, maybe not. Put that right under your nose and breathe out through your nose. And notice if you are 1 nostril dominant, like if there's more air coming out stronger through 1 nostril or the other. Just make note of that. Now lift up through your chest. Remember, you need to lengthen the abdomen to do Kapalabhati. We're just going to do 1 round of this. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale completely through your nose. Take another deep breath in. This time you're just going to breathe half of your air out and begin. Take a big inhale, raise your arms up. And then as you exhale, just float your arms down. Now we're going to do Surya Vedana. So this is a very solar breath. You can take the first 2 fingers of your right hand and either tuck them under the pad of the right thumb or put them in the center of your forehead. Either way, your right thumb is going to block your right nostril, your right ring and pinky finger will block your left. What we're going to do is inhale through the right nostril and exhale through the left every single breath. Always breathe in through the right side. Always breathe out through the left side. Nice, deep, full breaths. Off you go. As you finish out the breath you're on, if you like, you can do that same little test, just breathing out on the back of the hand right between the index finger and thumb. Maybe you can feel right nostril dominant. That was kind of our goal. So if you're successful, your right nostril should have a stronger airflow coming out. And if not, don't worry about it, it's fine. If you can't tell the difference, also fine. It's kind of a neat little trick. So we're trying to create that right nostril dominance because that helps us balance out our energies, right? So let's go ahead and bring palms together in front of the heart. Just take a moment in gratitude that we have these tools to transition our energies. If we need to calm down, yoga gives us the tools to breathe deeply and slowly, to power down our central nervous system, to get out of fight and flight and to rest and digest. We have the tools we need to actually get into a more lunar state. And we have these cool tools like we used today, stimulating the midsection, moving a little more rigorously, doing right nostril breaths to get us into a more solar state. So gratitude for the ability to transition our energies as needed. Take one more deep breath in through your nose. Big happy sigh. Bringing palms to the forehead. We're just reminded to stay present, to be in the moment. Bringing palms to the lips, we're reminded to speak our truth. And bringing palms to the heart, we're reminded to keep our hearts open, wide open, so that we can always practice kindness, compassion, and unconditional love. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.